So welcome back to the channel. As you saw in the title, me walking through this tiny hallway is about to come to an end. That is correct. We are moving out of our RV into a house. This is a sad day because we actually enjoy doing this. However, I promised this lady that we'd be in a house by the end of this year because we were supposed to be building a house and that didn't work out. So I still have to hold up my promise because you see that hot face back there? You can't lie to someone like that. You just can't. And with that being said, we are going to basically start breaking down, not the last time, because we're actually going to just clean up. I got to dump the tanks down. And there's a few, I'm sorry, the kids did that. Actually, I did that, but I'm blaming the kids because they're not here right now. There's water all over our sink. And yeah, I threw something in the sink and I didn't know that something was full. Never mind, this is irrelevant. But we have a lot to do, and yeah, I have to dump the tanks, as I mentioned, and gotta put stuff away. But one thing I want to talk about in this video is your black tank flush. If you have one, you probably shouldn't use it. So I will do a longer video, but in this video I was going to kind of explain to you guys what happened to me about a couple years ago. Most RVs today will have a tank flush already built into your RV. But if you do plan on living in your RV in the wintertime, do not use your black tank flush. And the reason why is if you use it, if you were to take apart this underbelly, there's literally no insulation under here. And despite what people tell you, most RV salespeople will say, oh, well, you have a furnace and that furnace will actually push heat down here. Trust me when I say this, it's not enough. I lived in it full time and I had 100 gallon of propane and I ran my furnace pretty much throughout the night when it would get really, really cold. So even with that being said, I actually cracked my black tank. And I don't need to tell you how expensive it is when you have to replace that. And if you're unfamiliar on how this works, there's basically like a sprayer at the front of the tank and it spins around. Typically they spin around and they're supposed to clean out that tank. Now I have mine on right now. You guys can see that there's water coming out. I've had it on for about maybe a couple minutes now. But what I normally recommend is buy the wand in the event that you plan on camping in the wintertime. Because what I've learned was when you black tank flush your RV using the one that's provided by the RV manufacturer, water sits in that line under your RV. And what happens is that water will freeze up and it's going to basically weaken the water lines, or worse, like it happened to me, it will crack your tank. So using this has a lot more benefits than just keeping your water lines on your RV from freezing. It also does clean a lot better because if you do use the black tank flush that's provided on your RV, you do have to use a water regulator. With this guy, you don't have to use one. But while my black tank is getting flushed out, I'm gonna go ahead and start airing up my tires on my RV. I wanna make sure they're at 80 PSIs. We're not going that far, but it's just good to just make sure the tires are at the max PSIs. And then I just have to put up my kids' bikes, my portable refrigerator. I do have something in the description for this too if you wanna buy one. It's a really cool 12-volt refrigerator and you can plug it into your car too if you don't have an actual outlet plug. And then I clean this bad boy up, put my generator into the truck. I got a lot to do, I guess, huh? I have to blow off the roofs because there might be some water on there because of the snow. And we should be good to go. Whew, man, I didn't show you guys anything. So we pretty much have pulled in 3 of the 4 slides. This is the only one that we have to leave open. And the reason why is, well, you can't enter this area when the slide's in. So always keep this in mind. It would have been kind of cool if they maybe gave this RV maybe like another foot. That way you could have walked around the slide, got in here. But right now what I'm doing is I've already dumped the black tank. This is the only other tank that just you can never clean well. I don't know why there's no option to put tank flushes on these lower budget RVs. But if you get like a class A, you know, like a luxury one, they always give you gray tank flushes and they are definitely needed. So that one's still showing a little dirty. So what I'm gonna do is, I have these guys. These things work great. So I need to empty out my water heater. So I've already turned it off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna dump that hot water in here, and then I'm gonna drop one of these guys down there. And we're actually gonna be doing some towing videos on the channel. So I figure while I'm doing the towing, I can have these in there sloshing around to try to loosen up anything that's left in those tanks. So let me go ahead and close this valve. We're gonna probably put about, I figure we'll probably put about maybe 15 gallons of water, maybe 20. 20 is probably the most I would do because you still want to slosh around. And I'm gonna actually do it for the black tank, and I might probably put like maybe 10 gallons in for the other gray tank because that one doesn't stay dirty. Alrighty, so if you want to blow out your lines, I have this guy here. This is a Viair. I don't like it, but it does work. And you have to buy something like this. That way you can blow out these lines. Be very careful. I don't go over 40 PSIs. I have that regulator, and then I have another one on here too, because I want to be extremely careful not to destroy these cheap plastic lines. So let me go ahead and do the black tank. I've already done this. This is all blown out. I am going to winterize it tomorrow, but as long as there's no water or not that much water in these lines, I'm good. I also undid the low point drains too, got all the water out of there too, so don't forget those. They're right there. All right, so I'm gonna blow out my black tank. Let's get all that water out of there. So I pretty much have winterized the water heater, and I ran some antifreeze through it, as you see. And now I'm gonna run it through the winterization. So I'm gonna open all the faucets on the inside, and then we'll get those nice and protected. Now, if you don't know, the winterization on the RV uses the water pump. And so what I'm doing is I'm basically pressurizing the water pump so that my wife can go inside and basically open all the faucets. And then of course, she's gonna do a few other things so that we can get all the water out of the lines.
Now that it's pressurized, I'm going to open the faucets. Very hot. And then I'll move it over to cold for each faucet.
Oh yeah, don't forget to winterize this guy too. If you have washer and dryer prep, you have to winterize these lines. I forgot to do this one year. Luckily, we didn't have any issues with it, but it's just good to do. And just remember, for your city and your tank flush, you're gonna need a pump like this. But so far so good. I just made a big mess because I forgot to open one of the valves. So we're good to go now. Alrighty, so we're hooked in, all set, and yeah, we're actually coming back. So we're gonna do some towing tests, but you're not gonna see that in this video. But we are moving into a house, as I said earlier, and my RV will be available to do towing tests. Isn't that fun? See you next video.